Hey, I slapped Steven so hard. They here to test me for steroids. I'm not wasting my time with Canelo Alvarez ever again. He's a complete waste of time. The dude is literally, he's just collecting bags. Personally, that'd be cool. But me as a boxing fan, why do I care to watch some dude that doesn't care who's in front of him, what's on the line? Like, the dude just fights for money. Oh, how much you paying me? Bam. That's why he's asked for $150, $200 million.
VADA just knocked on Terence Crawford's door. But where are they for Canelo Alvarez? That's the question everyone in the boxing world is asking. In the high-stakes world of championship boxing, where legacies, titles, and over $50 million are on the line, transparency isn't just appreciated, it's expected. With their historic September 13th mega fight drawing closer, VADA, boxing's anti-doping watchdog, has already begun testing Terence Crawford. And Crawford, he's not just complying, he's making sure the world sees it. On June 14th, a full 3 months before the bell rings in Las Vegas, Crawford proudly showed that the testers had arrived. The moment wasn't hidden, it wasn't whispered. It was public, confident, and loud. Meanwhile, fans are noticing something else. Canelo Alvarez, who carries a history with performance-enhancing drug controversies, has remained unusually quiet. No test footage, no updates, no statements.
Because that's what he wants. That's all he's ever been focused on ever since. I think he lost to Bivol, maybe even before Bivol, maybe after the Gennady second fight. Maybe that's what it is. I just haven't really looked at it. But yeah, bro, Canelo's not getting a second of my time. I don't care if he fought Jesus Christ himself. I'm not watching it.
The silence is speaking louder than words. So now the spotlight's not just on the fight, it's on who's really playing by the rules and who isn't. While some fighters might grumble about random testing, Terence "Bud" Crawford embraced it with a grin. On June 14th, long before most fighters even begin final training camp, VADA knocked unannounced, and Crawford welcomed them in like an old friend. He didn't just get tested, he made sure the cameras were rolling. And in true Crawford fashion, he turned a serious moment into viral comedy. Just hours earlier, he'd posted a skit featuring his friend and fellow boxer Steve Nelson, where Crawford playfully slapped him so hard that fans joked he needed medical attention.
Let's go. 1, 2. Damn, bud.
The punchline? Crawford captioned it. "I slapped Steve Nelson so hard, VADA came to test me for steroids." A joke, yes, but also a message. One that screams, "I'm clean, and I'm not hiding it." This moment added another layer to Crawford's public image. A fighter who's not only disciplined and dangerous in the ring, but also completely transparent. He's not just fighting Canelo, he's setting a standard for how modern athletes handle accountability. While Crawford goes viral for embracing VADA, Canelo Alvarez is making headlines for staying silent. Despite being the other half of one of the most anticipated matchups in recent boxing history, there's been zero public indication that VADA has tested Canelo at all. And fans are starting to notice.
Nothing. Jamal, I'm just asking, when you think about Canelo and the PED usage, right? This is probably the 4th or 5th fighter out of that camp that's come up hot for PEDs. Just what are your thoughts around that? And
I've been telling y'all about Snack.
It's not just the silence that's troubling, it's the context. Let's not forget, Canelo tested positive for Clenbuterol back in 2018, a banned substance often linked to weight cutting and performance enhancement. His excuse? Tainted meat from Mexico. The boxing world wasn't convinced then, and many still aren't now.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's just shocking. I can't really comment on it, but yeah, it's pretty shocking. My perspective is, who's their trainer? I mean, if there's 4 fighters who are testing positive for whatever drug, well, who's the trainer?
And making things worse, his longtime trainer, Eddy Reynoso, has become a walking red flag. To date, 6 fighters under Reynoso's guidance have tested positive for banned substances, including recent reports tied to rising star Jaime Munguia. Now, the questions are piling up. Why hasn't Canelo posted any proof of testing? Why does Team Reynoso consistently avoid transparency? In a sport where perception shapes reputation, Canelo's silence is becoming its own controversy. The boxing community isn't staying quiet either. Fans are calling out the double standard. Why is Crawford being tested and proudly showing it, while Canelo's entire team avoids the subject? On social media, forums, and even in press conferences, murmurs are turning into a full-blown backlash. More than just a personal issue, this is becoming a credibility crisis for boxing itself.
Look at Terence Crawford. Yeah, man, maybe he is Jesus Christ. He's slapping 168 times his dead. You know what I'm saying? When he's been training for somebody like did Errol Spence, you saw what he did. He's superhuman. So he's going to be superhuman again when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, man. It might be one punch, dead shot, first round for all I know. That whole show can eat a...
When one of the sport's most visible figures is connected to multiple failed tests without facing the same scrutiny or standards as his opponent, it sends a dangerous message. It tells fans that accountability depends on popularity, not principles. And heading into one of the biggest fights in modern history, that's a bad look for everyone. If boxing wants to maintain integrity in the Netflix era, where more eyes than ever are watching, it can't afford to sweep these questions under the rug. Every test or lack of one becomes part of the story. Now here's the genius of Terence Crawford. He doesn't need to throw verbal punches to land real ones. While some fighters would call press conferences or start Twitter wars, Crawford plays it cool and still manages to say everything that needs to be said. From the VADA testing reveal to his viral steroid slap joke, Crawford has been strategically playful, keeping his tone light but the subtext sharp. He's not accusing anyone outright, but his actions draw a line in the sand. I'm clean. I'm tested. What about you? Even his Netflix promo content seems to work in his favor. Fans and casual viewers alike are seeing a fighter who's not only talented, but transparent, humble, and savvy. Without ever pointing fingers, Crawford has already won the PR battle. And as the cameras keep rolling, he's forcing his opponent and the public to ask some uncomfortable questions.
Too great in the last era. It's gonna be big.
What does it do to your two legacies?
Sometimes people talk shit a lot, and when they stay in the ring, they do nothing.
You know, a win against Canelo Alvarez put me, you know, on Mount Rushmore.
A sport known for fiery face-offs and explosive promos, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez took a different route, but that didn't make it any less intense. During their recent sit-down interview with Piers Morgan, both men proved that sometimes the most devastating jabs are the ones delivered with a smile. Canelo didn't mince words when asked about his upcoming opponent. Calm, composed, but undeniably confident, he said, "Crawford is a great fighter, but he's not Canelo." It wasn't loud, it wasn't aggressive, but it hit, because it came from a man who believes his legacy is already written in gold. Crawford, unfazed, didn't even blink. He leaned in with a stare that said it all and calmly fired back. "I'm not leaving Vegas without that win." No raised voices, no table slams, just two first-ballot Hall of Famers exchanging cold truths. The respect between them is real, but don't mistake that for softness. The tension is real too. Underneath the smiles and sound bites, both men know what's at stake. Bragging rights, history, legacy, and they're not coming to play.
I have 2 losses. A fighter never think about lose.
He's significantly bigger than anyone you fought before, and he's one of the all-time greats. You're not going to feel apprehensive when you get in that ring against him?
Fear? No.
I will for you, and I'm not even you.
That's cool.
But can you accept he's better than you at anything or not?
No.
They're coming to finish. In a world where social media beefs often generate more buzz than actual matchups, Canelo Alvarez delivered a subtle reminder of what real fighting looks like. During a behind-the-scenes conversation with Turki Alalshik, the Saudi advisor behind many mega events, Canelo said something that caught fire online. "We're real fighters, not YouTuber fighters. We don't need to talk trash to sell this fight." And he's right. He and Crawford didn't get here through gimmicks or Instagram callouts. They built their legacies the old-school way, with sweat, skill, and silence. No fake beefs, no over-the-top antics, just pure pedigree. Crawford, standing beside him, nodded in agreement. You could see it. Two men who know that their resumes are the promo. But here's where it gets complicated. While Canelo criticizes fake drama, fans can't help but notice he's avoiding the real one, the VADA testing. In today's boxing landscape, where the stakes are higher and the science is sharper, transparency isn't optional, it's expected. And as Canelo continues to dodge the spotlight when it comes to drug testing, critics are starting to ask, is silence the new kind of trash talk? For all their class and composure, one fighter is showing proof. The other is keeping quiet. And that contrast is starting to tell its own story. Beyond the gloves, beyond the cameras, beyond the drama, this fight represents something bigger. For Terence Crawford, it's not just about winning another belt. It's about securing a legacy in one of the most high-profile events in recent history, and doing it on his terms. $50 million. That's what's reportedly on the line for Crawford before bonuses and endorsements. A life-changing sum, and he earned it not by chasing controversy, but by staying clean, winning big, and demanding greatness from every opponent. For boxing purists, he's the dream package. Undefeated, undisputed, and unapologetically principled. Some analysts have compared this upcoming bout to Canelo versus Mayweather, a strategic masterclass. Others believe it'll be more like Canelo versus Charlo, a war of attrition. But one thing's for sure, this fight has more eyes on it than any other this year. And with that spotlight comes responsibility. The narrative around VADA testing has become part of the main event. Fans aren't just talking about power, speed, or style. They're talking about who's doing things the right way and who might be hiding something. Every test, every update, or lack of one is now shaping how people will remember this fight long after the final bell. Canelo Alvarez believes he still runs this era, and maybe he does. With over 60 wins, multiple titles, and a resume that includes the biggest names in the game, it's hard to argue against his reign. But boxing is about more than what you've done. It's about what you're doing now. And right now, the pressure isn't just on his fists, it's on his silence. Terence Crawford is already showing the world that he's clean. He's proving it with VADA, with cameras, and with confidence. Meanwhile, Canelo continues to dodge the conversation, even as his camp's track record raises serious red flags. So here's the final question, the one fans are already asking, and the one that might define this entire event. If Crawford's being tested, why isn't Canelo? And in a sport where your name is your legacy, does silence speak louder than any punch ever could? Let us know your thoughts and comments. Alright guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content, and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.